Hi, it's Jen from Shabby Fabrics, back with a Simply Sweet table topper. This time it is for April, and we kicked our series off with our February project. We're always shipping that ahead to you so that you have plenty of time to make and display that for the month coming up. So we started off in January and actually had the February project, followed by our shamrocks, and now, of course, all the lovely pastel colors of Easter. Limited amounts of kits, but people are buying these kits like crazy. So be sure to grab your kits, and if you think you might want to make another one to give as a gift, be sure to grab those. Some very limited fabrics, including this darling little Easter bunny fabric I was able to find in the background. Just a sweet little touch here. So as you know, as we progress through the series, we're trying to add different stitching each time and be able to show you some fun stitching. This time we used a beautiful variegated thread, and we have the pretty little flight path of our butterfly. That is a chain stitch, and then a little bit of a satin stitch for the body. And of course, we're adding just a little bit of beading for those antennas. One of my favorite things about these kits, and this is what the kit will look like, is that all of the applique shapes, the eggs, the little rickrack there, that's in the shape of rickrack, as well as this scallop, is all cut for you. You don't have to trace and cut all of it out, finding some heat and bond light. You can just open up your kit and get going. The only thing you'll need to be sure to grab will either be some fusible fleece or maybe some batting you might have at home, and that's all you need in addition to your kit. So if you're curious how we make the background, we covered that in detail in our very first series. We took you all the way through that complete journey. So if you're just seeing this for the first time, be sure to go back to that and you'll be able to prepare your background. And of course, we go over how to use the light box in conjunction with our layout diagrams, which will be included inside your pattern. We simply tape those together, cut everything out, and now you can see that once you put your background fabric here, you're able to see exactly where everything goes, trace on the embroidery lines with a micron pen, and then of course stitch everything down. We couldn't resist all of the colors, of course, that we're using on these eggs. So we have a bigger thread set this month than we've had before, and then of course that beautiful variegated thread, which we'll be showing you a little bit later on as I show you how to do the stitches. Keep in mind, that's just my idea of how to do the stitches. You can always refer to this guide to maybe choose a different stitch, or maybe if you're left-handed and it's hard to see me because I'm right-handed, this guide has left and right-handed diagrams, so that's a great reference. So what we'll do at this point is we'll have our videographer come around and I'll just be going through the stitches with you as we enjoy making our Simply Sweet table topper for April. So we have our background down. I haven't stitched anything down. Now you would want to make sure that you've done all of your machine applique. That's completely done, and the only thing left to do would be to just go ahead and do the hand embroidery and a little bit of beading. Now this beautiful variegated thread can have a little bit of a mind of its own, and unlike conventional spools that have kind of those locking areas, you can see this groove here where you lock the thread in when you're done with it. This here, lovely, lovely, and it's worth it because it's so pretty. The variegation is so pretty. You want a length about from your, wrist to your shoulder. And once it's done, if you just kind of put that thread down, it starts to unravel. This is why I love Hugo's amazing tape. It's like a cling. It has a cling feature to it. So you can see I have no locking mechanism on the spool. And I don't want it to become unraveled because as you start to build your collection of thread, it can get very messy. Here you'll get a nice large 50-foot roll of this, and it works not just for thread but other things. It's clingy, it's not sticky. I'll just cut a length of that just so you can see this. I really don't use it for regular thread, but for this I use it every single time to keep my thread nice and organized. We just wrap it around. I didn't even need that big of a piece. And now we're on our way. Okay, I mentioned this thread can have a mind of its own. We don't use this usually for anything like 50 weight thread. This is called thread magic. It's just one little pot of this is going to last you probably your whole life. See how this thread is already starting to unravel a bit? it has a mind of its own. And as we begin to stitch, right, there's the friction of all the fabric, the fusible webbing. Go ahead and run this through. I grab the whole strand, pushing my thumb, and I pull it through all the way, at least once, if not twice. Notice how when I brought this off of it, this had a lot of twisting to it. Look what's happening. This is actually beginning to straighten and beginning to be tame, right? And as you want to thread that, you might want to put the very end and really, really press that together and get a little bit in your fingers. You get the idea. Then go ahead and thread your needle. I've got an embellishing needle here. Anything you have at home that is going to be nice and sharp and have a big enough eye to be able to hold the thread without coming unthreaded would be great. So if you already have some needles at home, that'll work just fine. So just to knot this, I simply roll this around my index finger and I roll it here at the end like this, and I slide that down to really lock in a knot right there at the very end. Now, looking at where we're going to start here at the very beginning of our beautiful butterfly's flight path. And notice these are just lazy daisies, which we've done before, but they just keep continuing. So we'll be covering that today, a simple outline. We've done that before, and just a little bit of a satin stitch on the body of our butterfly. So we only need one kind of strand of this. We'll start here on the back. We know we have a knotted needle. We're going to come up on our line, and I've got that knot back here, and I'm just going to kind of hold that off to the side, out of my way as I go right back down, either through that hole or right next to it. Either way works. And we're going to come up a short distance on our drawn line, and in the gap, in that loop, we're coming up. And we pull. That's the beginning of the chain stitch. Now we go back down inside. We have our loop, kind of our teardrop. You need to go inside that, right back down where you came up. Notice I'm trapping that loop with my thumb. You're coming up. I kind of make sure I'm going through my loop, and I pull again. I think I pulled a little bit too hard, which you can do. You try to keep the same amount of tension. Now we'll come back down. Try to keep my hands out of the way as best I can here. You're trying to just find about the same distance. Come up. And you keep traveling. You keep doing this all the way around. When you're done, simply hop over to the other side of that teardrop. Go down and then tie off. And of course, that's going to be on this end. To tie off, easy peasy. We're just going to grab a little bit of our background fabric, making sure we don't go to the front. Just like we've done before, we create a loop. Go through our loop, do it one more time, shallow. Okay, and then we tie off. All right, we know all about the back stitch. We've done that certainly when we did our vines in our first project here. We did all of that was back stitching, and that's when we did our lazy daisy. So go check that one out if you're curious about that stitch. Very basic. But let's talk about the satin stitch. The satin stitch, the whole goal is to have threads placed very close to each other, creating a new knot here. So I'll show you that on this project here. So notice how the stitches are placed very close to each other so that you're not seeing the background is very satiny, and I don't know if that's why they call it a satin stitch. I have no idea, but that's my theory anyway. So we see just a little bit of our, just a little bit of the satin stitch, and we'll start here at the bottom. Remember, we've drawn on with a micron pen. We want to make sure that our stitching is going to the outside of where we've drawn, because we certainly don't want to see any of where of the lines we've drawn. We just want to see our beautiful stitching. I can feel I need to get the knot kind of out of the way. And you know, the truth is I would be going to do the back stitch here and back stitch here, and I really wouldn't have a knot right where I'm stitching right now, but I can feel that right now and it's in my way. So all you need to do when that happens is just kind of with your nail, move it out of the way. You can also create an anchor over here, right? Create a little bit and then kind of slide over. But I think the easiest way is to just move it with your nail so you're not going in and out of there, which can be really hard to pull through. I've done it before, not fun, but I've been able to do that. And we'll just place those stitches very close together, and you just go all the way down to fill in your shape. I'll do a couple more. Satin stitches take a long time because the distance is, you have to be so close to the stitch next to you, but the results are definitely worth it. And you get the idea. Just fill in, tie off like we've done before. Beading, easy peasy, just like we've done. The straw needles come into play because we have some very fine glass beads. Of course, you can just pick up your bead just like we've done before. You're going to come up, pop in a bead, come back down, travel across, pick up the bead, tie off. Be sure to tie off 2 or 3 times, and then you'll come and do your other 2 butterflies, and you are done. So you can see the stitching for the April project, easy peasy. It's just kind of that lazy daisy. We keep traveling. Satin stitch is so beautiful, and of course we love that little touch of the embellishment of the bead. I can't wait to show you the Simply Sweet table topper for May. It just might be something lovely to make for mom, maybe one for yourself, one for mom. Hey, pick up the kits. We're noticing they're flying out the door. Some of the fabrics are, tied to certain collections that we can't get again. So if you're loving this series and maybe you haven't grabbed the other kits, I encourage you to do that. Grab the thread sets, anything else you might need. Subscribe if you haven't already done that. And I definitely look forward to seeing you next month as we continue with our Simply Sweet table topper series. I'll see you soon.